Afternoon, guys. It's a sunny afternoon here in Spain, in the UK on a Saturday. Just want to say I'm going to be back in Spain in 5 weeks' time. Um, I've got three things that are lined up, so if one of them drops into place, I'll be quite happy. Because one of the things I want to try and do is stop hopping backwards and forwards to the UK and Spain. And I have to say, financially, it's not as important to be earning as much as I do in the UK as to being home all the time. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. Not Spain, but we're in the Philippines before, which involved long times away from home, working in the Middle East, working in the UK. So I want to move away from that. I know the UK and Spain is not far apart, and like now, this run in has brought in some money. At the same time, it's also sort of got me going, okay, now we've got a bit of money in the bank again. I can focus on getting some work in Spain. One of the main issues I've had prior to this was going through the residency and all that hassle. That sort of dragged on forever, which sort of, in time, cost me about €27,000 with sitting around and just doing bits and pieces. At the same time, it wasn't really lost time because I was trying to understand where to invest, what type of business is worth doing, etc., etc. So it wasn't a complete loss. At the same time, this time around, I'm going to drop into some work, get that sort of focus so I can keep the money ticking over and build it from there. Because the priorities have sort of changed a little bit in the sense that we want to move from where we are, and I'll tell you now, if you want our apartment, get in touch because there aren't many apartments in La Mata that are long-term rental. There ain't that many as close to the beach as we are. We're actually tempted to, even when we move, keep that one just on the rental. I mean, it's €300 a month, but it's a nice location. So we're looking at that at the moment because if I drop into work, get a work contract, then I'm looking at getting a house in Spain. Trying to get something in La Mata, maybe even a 3-4 bedroom apartment. But you're talking €110,000 all in for that. So this is why work is sort of getting on the cards at the same time, still teaching English. Outside of that, April's getting involved in teaching English as well now, so we're starting to see another revenue stream starting to open up. Going to do more stuff on the YouTube side, and I noticed today, we were chatting earlier, I just trying to find your name, if they'll let me go to it. We were talking about Upwork, which Our Normal brought up today. I used Our Normal before when I was out in the Philippines, because a company in Spain, fun enough, in Salamanca, needed a website designing and drop pages, all that sort of stuff. And I got paid through Upwork because it was actually getting managed by a company and friend I know that was managing it, and he knew I could sort out that stuff for them. They were looking at marketing for selling the Spanish language school to non-Spanish speakers to go to Salamanca and learn Spanish. How bizarre is it that I wasn't even looking at Spain at that time, and I've ended up there? That's quite funny in that sense that it wasn't even something I had even thought about. Spain was a country up until recently I hadn't even visited. I've lived in Germany, been to Holland, been to Belgium, France, etc. But I'd never come down to Spain. I was sort of put off by the Benidorm crowd. In all honesty, it just sort of isn't me. That's a polite way of saying it. So how bizarre that I end up in Spain myself. And I've seen some people comment about how British La Mata is. It's not a British place. I'd say it's predominantly Spanish, Dutch, Norwegian, Swiss, etc. I don't know what the percentage of Brits are, but we don't actually spend much time with them. Our friends are from everywhere. Igor's from Ukraine. Kim and Carl, They've taken over the bar restaurant recently. They bought that. They are from Australia. Uh, Honey Kebab. That's they're Polish. The the local fruit shop, etc., is Spanish. Paco, that used to own the Anchor Bar, that sold that, Spanish. Um, yeah, predominantly our friends are not British. We've got a few friends, but I'm just saying that it's very cosmopolitan, our friends in Spain. Um, Andreas is Italian. His wife is from um, Colombia. Um, April's friend, what's her name again? I forget her. Her husband's Spanish. And Carolina, she's from the Dominican Republic. It's so multicultural, and I love that. I love being in that sort of environment. Um, so yeah, we don't really hang around the little Brit towns, and it's not that we're like anti-British or anything. It's just that we don't really see that many. So when people say, "Oh, it's very British," not where we are, and we live there. So I would say it's more like to see people from Bilbao, Madrid, Barcelona, than anywhere else. Anyway, that's enough of that. But yeah, looking forward to getting back to Spain. The trip to the UK has been different because you may not be aware, my mother passed away a couple of weeks back, so we've had that ongoing. And I've been dealing with working in the UK with a university that's been going typically corporate. So I'm glad that's now heading in the right direction to the point I can set a line in the sand so I can go home. So going to make some good money on it. I am not complaining about it. In all honesty, the money I make doing what I do is good money. I will say that the IR35, this new tax system in the UK, is ripping off contractors. It's costing me a lot of money. I would actually say that the fact that I'm not entitled to things like child benefit and stuff is sort of a bit of a joke in the sense that I'm paying more tax than most people and paying for my own healthcare because we have private healthcare, along with paying excess tax. And then they sit there going, "Well, it's your fault. You moved to Spain." I do find that was HR revenues and customs when I was talking to them because they messed up some of my figures. They're like, "It's your fault. You moved to Spain." I just thought that's so Brexit of you. uh, yeah, that's the response from the tax man. Well, as a woman I spoke to, but the response being, "It's your own fault. You moved to Spain." Okay, well, yeah. For an economy that relies on overseas money is quite funny. Anyway, that's enough of that politics. But yeah, looking forward to getting back to Spain. My Spanish language is probably still exactly the same as where I left it off. It's not any worse, I know that, because this week I was just sitting there and we were looking for something, and I was looking for a lupa. And I was just thinking, that's Spanish, because that's a magnifying glass. Because you start locking these words into your head and you start building your vocabulary, and you're just thinking that's a magnifying glass, it's not a lupa, because nobody will know what I'm saying when I say lupa, because looking at some floor plans because we're doing some surveying this week. But yeah, all good. I've decided to hold back on buying a car in the UK until I give Spain another crack at getting things where we want it. I can see us buying a brand new car in Spain in the next 6 months. Reason being is the van will keep anyway. It's not expensive. I mean, it's about €300 to insure. It's ITV, it passes every time, which costs me like 50, €60 every 6 months. Couldn't complain at that. Its fuel economy is pretty good. So the only thing is it does fall to bits, and I do spend time sticking things back on. But locally, it's ideal. When people bump park and stuff, I couldn't care less. But we do need a newer vehicle, and with that, the Spanish channel, this one, will become more interesting because we can travel further. I'm also getting a new drone. So there'll be more footage from the air, and it'll make the whole thing a bit more interesting. I want to encourage people to move to Spain. If you don't worry about the Brexit, I'll tell you that now. Don't worry about the Brexit. The fact is, if you're working in Spain, your social security is getting paid, so you've got your healthcare covered. Um, if you're retiring in Spain, just have a look at your private healthcare, and it may not be as expensive as you think, but the peace of mind is worth it. Um, Brexit won't make any difference. It won't, not to Spain. Spain relies on the UK for tourism, whether it likes it or not. And in all honesty, I do find the Spanish more positive than I find from the British side. Um, there'll still be the horrible Benidorm. Sorry, that's wrong. That's unfair. It's just not for me. There will be the whole Benidorm hotel complex thing, binge drinking, all you can eat and drink for the next 2 weeks for 350 quid. All that stuff will remain. Only things that will change is probably the visas and stuff, and having to show your passport more. But bank transfers and stuff, it ain't gonna change. At the end of the day, you're still paying taxes in Spain. When you buy a house, you're giving away 10%. So you're going to be still giving away 10%. That ain't going to change. So it's not as if you're getting something for free anyway. But I do find things like the council tax are nearly nothing. So that's a plus side. So giving away €10,000 when we buy a house, in all honesty, it's much cheaper than it will be in the UK, and the service is much better. The bins get collected at least 3 times a week. The streets are cleaned, they're washed, got high police presence, and we have a good bus service, we have a good police service, we have a good environment to live in. And that's what I'm saying. If I give €10,000 to the state for buying a house, I couldn't care less. Because, in all honesty, the UK costs me a lot more, and then they complain about giving you the services you're paying for. So, yeah, big thumbs up for Spain for me. Looking forward to going home. Work, fingers crossed, we'll have something lined up in the next time. Well, not next time we speak, because something may have happened by then. But within the next six weeks, I'm aiming to be lined up with work, dropping it somewhat nice, and start progressing things from there. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, or just liked the video, please like it, share it, comment. And I do really encourage people to move to Spain if you want to do it. Please feel free to comment, get in touch with me, message me on my Facebook channel. My Facebook channel. And we'll talk. I'll quite happily give you free information. I'll help you with visas and stuff if you need that help. If there's other problems that you're experiencing, I have no problem listening and trying to help you where I can. I know like some people need to move house, or they've got problems with relationships or whatever. I don't mind listening. At the end of the day, if I can help you, I'm happy to do so. Alright, thanks for watching. And I don't ask for donations, by the way, but if you ever feel like it, please feel free. Thanks for watching.